Yo, hey, Trav, and I'm over here watching Colin in black and white. So I wanted to check it out. It's the Colin Kaepernick drama series. Obviously, I got a little bit of investment in this, being that I'm biracial myself. So I was checking this out and just seeing how it was. And man, the biracial struggle is real, bruh. I didn't have it as bad as Colin Kaepernick because he was adopted by a white family, but uh, I think it's even deeper than that. I think it's like growing up, even if you're just full black, but if you don't live stereotypical, like we're only given certain archetypes being black. I think it's better now, but when we were growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, bro, if you were an athlete or you weren't on some thug shit or something like that, what was your archetype as a black man? You know what I mean? So he definitely has some situations I've been through. Like he had a situation where, he wanted to get some black swag but didn't know how to do it. And I went through that, like even when my father was alive, they didn't really know how to give me confidence and swag, and they raised me in a white neighborhood. So I remember the first time, like, I went to get my hair braided, and they show it in here, but the first time I went to black areas and went to black stores and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm finally black now, you know what I'm saying? And getting laced with Woo Wear and FUBU and Rockaware and all that shit. And I don't know, he had it pretty bad though in this because he got adopted by the white family, and even they were still throwing racial stuff at him, even though they were adopted a black kid. And it's like, bro, that's the thing I noticed with some of these families. When I see that they're like all white families adopting like all black, like black kids, it's like, are you going to know what to do with that child? Like, because you got to raise him black, and you're going to raise this black kid culturally white. You're going to create this this psychological confusion. You know what I mean? And I think the best thing that happened for me was when I was like 13, 14, I was like, told my mom, I was like, hey, I need to go to this particular high school in San Jose, Oak Grove, because that's where all the blacks were at in San Jose. It's like I was going to go to a private school, but I was like, nah, I need to go here because I need to find myself. And that's where I got laced with like my street smarts. That's where, I got around other black boys. And of course, at first, they kind of like, were kind of like, oh, this is white kid, because my dad was dead at the time. So they just saw my mom. But man, black kids got to be around their own people, bro. You can't. This Colin Kaepernick show is interesting because it shows, bro, like you can't take black kids and then just isolate them out of their neighborhoods. And we be doing that because we want to live good, but you can't isolate your kids from their blackness. You can't just move them out the suburbs and then, but they're still going to be black because they got black parents or they're black themselves. Nah, if your environment's white, them kids is going to come out white. And if I didn't make some of the moves I did, I would have came out like a white kid. You know what I mean? So I'm glad I didn't go to private school in high school because I would have been a totally different person. My Lord. Because I done met some of these other black kids that their parents raised them in the suburbs and never raised them around other blacks. And then as adults, they grow up confused. And those be the black guys that be talking bad about black women and then saying, oh, like the only dating black or white women. And that to me is a mental illness. Oh, black women don't submit. I've never dealt with that. And I've always been the nerdy black guy. So that's not true either, bruh. It's just you got to raise black men around other black men. And that's what I like about this show is it shows this different side of the things he went through. Like, but it's cold, bro. Like, even like when he wanted to date a black girl, they were kind of against it. But it's like, he's black. Like, why wouldn't he want to do that? Like, they were trying to make him just white. And that's crazy, bro. So I could definitely relate to this show. And I think it's good now because, if you go to the suburbs, like especially out here in Sacramento, they got like suburbs that's like anything but black people or anything but white people in some of the areas. And it's like, damn, bro, I'm like envious of my niece and nephews. I'm like, I wish I would have grown up in that. I wouldn't have had some of the psychological issues I had to deal with and gain my confidence. And that dude, David Goggins, that's like popular now, he went through that too. And he went through self-confidence issues. Now he's known as like one of the toughest guys and motivating people on social media. So, um, you know, the one thing this show though shows too is that with white folks sometimes is that y'all don't be seeing y'all's privilege, and even if you be around and hang out with people of color, you don't see how your little subliminal racist ways affect us. And that should be annoying because we always have to assimilate to white society. White society never has to assimilate to us. So I like how they show this, you know what I mean? And I'd say if you haven't checked it out, check it out. And I would say even for, besides just the Colin Kaepernick situation, for all my black people out there that want to raise their children in better areas, don't forget where you came from. Don't just raise your kids in all non-black areas because you want to live in a better community. I get that, but you still need to go back and tap in because we have a bunch of middle-class blacks that are not even in touch with the black struggle, but think they know just because they black. Nah, you only know if you're around. So that's all I want to say about that. Check out the show if you haven't. It's pretty good. Peace, y'all.